Okay, right. So this is the second part of this cost volume profit analysis. We've talked already about single products. Let's look at what happens if we're, like I said, in the real world, we are selling more than the one product. Again, this is about more than one product. Let me just sort of circle that. We're dealing with more than one product here, which is the real thing. And the key thing here, the key assumption, this is the key assumption, first of all, we must make, that we are selling these products in the same ratio. And I'll explain. So, for example, if we're selling 3 products, A, B, and C, and we're selling 10 of this, and 15 of this, and 20 of this, we're saying that at all times, in order to work out this average, that we're not going to start suddenly selling more of A, or more of B, or more of C. We will come to that scenario. But initially, to work out an average, we must assume that if suddenly there's an increased demand, there's an increased demand for all of them, or for none of them, or for the same, the demand increases or falls by the same percentage. So, for example, this could be like, if you like this, or like this, right? Going up or down. So, that's the first key assumption. So we have a predetermined sales mix. And so this sales mix remains constant. That's the key issue here. Right, same. So eventually, like I say, we're going to come back to this scenario where we sort of look at things and really actually argue that probably most organizations will try and sell the product with the highest C over S ratio. And we'll probably rather break even sooner. But for now, we will carry on with this idea of trying to find what this average is, because again, remember, like the break-even chart really is, it's a kind of it's a line, isn't it? So the issue really is about looking at that relationship between profit and volume. So trying to find an average is a good idea. So the first task we're going to do is look at this question here. And so we have this company that makes 3 different products, C, V, and P, and we have 4,800 units here. The same here, and 12,000 units here, and that's the selling price and the variable, and we have the contribution. So here we have the overheads. So the first thing we do, these are the tasks we're going to go through to sort of look at this, tackle this question or this scenario here. So first thing we need to do is calculate the C over S ratio for each product. Which we do anyway to sort of either rank them or whatever, just to sort of see who's giving us the biggest contribution per over sales. And so when we do that to calculate the C over S ratio, again we compare of course the contribution with the selling price. So it's comparing contribution with the selling price. That with that, that with that, that with that. And so let's see how that works out. We have the contribution over selling price, contribution over selling price, contribution over selling price, and we have the C over S ratio. Right, now, we now can see from here that P tells us that if we were selling this in order of rank, we would do something like this. We'll probably sell off P. Sell the P's first, then the C's, then the V's. But that's not the scenario. We just want to know what the average, we pretend we are fusing all these products into one type of product, if you like. So, in order to find, which is the next question, the average C over S ratio, what we do is we find the total sales and the total contribution. So if you like, just pretend it's all one product. And we can see to get the total sales, we literally have to multiply sales times the selling price for each of them, add them all together, and then you have your total contribution over here, and that enables us to then work out total contribution divided by total sales, giving us this average C over S ratio. And from here, we can sort of do all the other little things we talked about in the earlier lecture. We can work out break-even revenue, if you like, if we have a C over S ratio. Again, we assume that this budget mix remains unchanged. And when I talk about that, I mean this ratio of 4,800 to 4,800 to 12,000. So let's work out the break-even revenue. first of all, and the break-even revenue, if you like, if the C over S ratio is 0.3 and we know what the fixed costs are, calculate the break-even revenue, we know what our fixed costs are of 8,000. And at break-even, we've already agreed this, that contribution is equal to fixed costs. So when contribution is 8,000, that means that the break-even revenue is 26,667. Right. Now, what I've done is, well, the next task, I believe, if you go back a little, the next task is to now construct this sort of profit volume chart. As you can imagine, because we're dealing with different types of products, on our chart we can't quite have, we'll have profit and loss on this one, but we can't quite have units here because we've sort of merged everything into one. So we can have revenue, if you like, on this, on the x-axis. It's the same thing, really. The relationship is linear. So what we can do is plot profit or loss on this axis with revenue on this. So what I've done is I've taken us to I've created a chart. Yes, let's keep this. I've created the chart itself so we can actually see what's going on. This was the first chart from the earlier video where we were at sorry. This is the chart of the sort of profit figure, and what we see here is if you look here, that's the 8,000 loss over there. So let me take you to the figures here just to construct this, how I've plotted my graph. I think I've jumped ahead of myself. So here we are. I mean, those are my figures there, like I discussed earlier on. That's my revenue at break even. So to construct the PV chart, this is what I have. I have this revenue of 0 when the loss is 8,000. I have revenue of 26,000 when profit is 0. And I have a total revenue of 136,800 when my profit is 33,400. How did I get this figure, 136,800? Well, if you go back to my initial question, that. Yes, here we are. So here's my total. When I sell all my products, I will make revenue of 136,800. My contribution is 41,400. So if my contribution is 41,400, when I've sold all my products, my profit will be 41,400 minus 8,000, which will leave me at 41,400 minus 8,000, which will leave me at 33,400. So you have that. There you have that. So if I now go back to this chart that I was talking about, yes, I want to keep that. I go back to this chart over here. That's the 8,000. That's the 26,000. You can see it, 26,667. And over here, that's the 136,800. And my profit over here is about 33,400. So this is my profit volume chart, where this is revenue over here, and this is my profit. So that's how you prepare your PV chart. And you can just draw it, really, just just going back to this table, the little table that I've drawn here, to show the relationship between revenue and profit, and just plot those figures next to each other. Okay, right. So what we'll do in the next video is we will look at what happens if we choose or try and plot the graph, but by selling the product with the highest C over S ratio first, and then the following. So we'll do that in the next video. Okay, see you then.